Hello everyone and welcome to this review video of the ProDeskSim Airbus throttles. So we have the initial device. It comes in just a normal cardboard box. Been waiting about 2 months for this now, so it's a much awaited package. So as we go into the box, obviously these are all plastic wrapped. Normally I've took them out just for a bit of an ease for the video, just so I could have a quick look, make sure there was no issues with it before filming. So that's the plastic it comes in. And then initially we got the first plate, which is on the right hand side here, and that sits on the right side, and that has all your increments for your thrust and flap settings, and as you see all the notches, and it also covers the other blank throttles that aren't in use. So next we have the left hand side. That has the same, pretty much the same, apart from it has the spoiler axis on the left there, and it looks absolutely stunning, to be quite honest. Then we have the spring-loaded flaps lever. It has a little notch on one side, which is obviously what it interlocks with when you're changing to a different flap setting. We have the arm and disarm speed brake lever, so that is actually actionable. It does come up and down. They're very well printed, to be honest. They're very well printed. Next, we have the main thing, which is the throttles. So the throttles, obviously we have two of them, and they have a connector underneath with a ball bearing, which is what gives you that effect of the notched effect during the takeoff. Then we have the reverse thrusters, which feel very nice, and then we have the auto throttle disconnect button on both sides of each throttle. Nice little indicator there as well. That little indicator, it's basically is the position where the flaps are, the throttle is setting, sorry. Then we have a couple of little caps. These caps go over the spare throttle levers. So let's move on to the installation. So as you can see here, we've got our throttle all bare. You need to make sure you get the throttles in the right configuration, make sure you get them in the right place for this to fit on. So as you can see, I slot the bottom base in first on the right side there, and then pull the other throttle back a little bit, and then with a quite hard firm push you hear a nice big confirming click, and then it's pretty much locked in nicely as it should be. Apologies about the camera wobble here. And then we do exactly the same on the right, so we make sure it's in there and we slot it in again with the bits on the bottom. Nice confirming click. So make sure that's all in nicely. I was just double checking to make sure that's in firmly. It didn't seem quite as good a fit as the other side, but it still is nice and flush to the device itself. Next we have the two caps. So these two caps can go on the end. I must admit these didn't fit as well as I thought. I thought they would be a little bit more snug, but I may try and find a solution for that, just to try and make sure they're a little bit snugger. The one on the right seemed to be nice and snug, to be honest. It didn't seem to change. However, the one on the other side wasn't as snug. It might be I just need to have a play about with it and see if we can get it a little bit snugger. So next we've got the flaps set in. Obviously you need to look at that notched side and make sure the notched side is pointing towards the notched bit on the flaps there. As you can see, you just need to press that down and hard, and then it sits in that lever, and then you pull the little spring-loaded bit up to change each flap position. The 3D printing is really good quality. I've not seen any issues with the quality of the 3D printing. I was quite impressed. And here we are with the spoilers. And basically it's exactly the same process. You basically push it down nice and hard, and then you can lift it up and push it down to arm and disarm, and then obviously by pulling it down that will then put it into different settings. You don't need to lift anything on this one, it's just a case of pulling and pushing. And finally over to the throttles. So the throttles were probably the easiest thing to get on, to be honest. Just need to make sure you get the right throttle, so make sure the red button's pointing towards the outer side. And once you get it in, just a nice confirming push. The other one was a little bit trickier, just because it was a little bit more of a tight fit. So it took a couple of attempts just to get that on there that time. I think it also could be because my levers aren't quite as straight as they used to be from all the use that I've had over the last couple of years. But that's where we are with that. And then you basically push that in, and then you have your throttle there. And they feel really nice, to be honest. If you get the tension quite nice on the Honey Bravo, which is on that little wheel on the right hand side of the throttle, you can it makes it feel very nice, if I'm honest. Obviously what we'll do now is we will now look at the next part, which is getting it installed. So then guys, moving on to configuration, we're in Flight Sim 2024. Excuse the frame rate down the side, I've just not adjusted that yet. So what we want to do is head into the sim settings at first, into controls. I've set myself a brand new preset configuration. It's up to you if you do or not. So first thing we want to do is we want throttle. That's the word throttling. So first thing we need to get done really is, so auto throttle takeoff go around. So that wants to be at number 30. That's yeah, button number 30. Next thing, to hold the reverse thrust, so it holds it in that reverse position. You want button 11 and a button 12. And the same on the side. I think it's 10 and 9 and 10 maybe. Oh, just 10. Apologies, button 10. Next one is your axis 1. So all you do is you click on these, you move the axis, and it'll assign itself as it should do. So you assign that to the R axis Z. Throttle number 2, do exactly the same thing. Click on it, move that axis, and it'll also assign itself like that. You also need to put in decrease throttle, so that actually allows it to go into that reverse thrust. So you want button 27 and button 26, I believe. Yeah. And you need to assign that so you get that nice smooth reduction in reverse thrust on landing. So next thing to do is to go over to flaps. So the flaps axis is exactly the same principle. You click on it and then you move that axis. The only difference is you may need to click on, if it doesn't look like it's moving properly, because it's the axis is moving the wrong way round, click on the cog and you want to check select set inverted axis, and that's what we've got selected there, as you can see. So that's how you sort your flaps out. And then spoilers are a little bit more tricky, but nothing too drastic once you've seen this little clip. So spoiler axis is exactly the same principle. Click on it, move it. You'll also may need to invert it if it's not inverting properly. Mine worked fine, so I didn't need to invert it, but some people's it doesn't invert properly. Next thing to do is you want the arm spoilers, auto spoilers, and disarm auto spoilers. So what you need to do is you need to click on this and you need to press down on your device. So as you can see, it's flashing on that bottom left side. So press down on the device and that will give you button 29 on that arming option. Next thing you need to do is to disarm auto spoilers. So what you basically need to do is we need to have a look to see how the control works. So on this you can leave it as input repetition for disarm auto spoilers, but you need to ensure you set control on release and make sure that is ticked, or this will not work properly for you. The next option is the arm auto spoilers. Once that's assigned, all you need is this input repetition. You don't need to invert it. You don't need to do it on release or anything of that kind. So as you can see, let's go back into the sim and you'll see that the arming of the spoilers works perfectly. So that's up, that's down, that's up, that's down, pulling down, first notch, second notch. Obviously it's going to give us an ECAM warning because nothing's switched on. The flaps as well, so we ensure that we move them and they move along the same axis, which is exactly how they should work. Same with the thrust, we'll make sure that they're all set properly, and then when we lift the toggles up and pull it back, that will then give us that sort of straight notched effect to give us reverse thrust. And that is pretty much it. Obviously if you're in the Fenix, which most of you probably will be if you're buying this product, you need to head into the MCDU. So what we need to do, go to MCDU menu and then you want to go to the config option. Click on config and then you're looking for controls down this bottom left side, controls config. And once you're on that, you click on that and at the top it says thrust levers. So at the minute we've got a 2% null zone and you need to click calibrate. I'm not going to take you all the way through it because it's quite self-explanatory, to be honest. You basically click on it and move it to the setting that it asks for. That's all you need to do. And then you click the next option, so you can do the same with the side stick. You don't really need to do much with that. That's just all automatic, to be quite honest. There's nothing too drastic with that. And also your flaps as well. So you can calibrate the flaps to make sure that they're in the right setting for the right groove on your panel. And that is how that all works. So, I hope this has been useful for you for the config, for those of you that are not too sure how to set things up. The only other thing that we need to try and establish is the auto throttle disconnect, which is what I'm going to have a quick look at now, just whilst we're still in the video. Personally, I've not done it before, so what we're going to do is type auto throttle disconnect. There we go. So what we're going to try and do is going to try and press both buttons. Let's see if it will do. So that is both of them buttons, and we'll try and save it and see if that works. It may do, it may not, but yeah, so there you go. So by enabling them two, that then gets them both working. But you need to make sure you press the reason why I've done both buttons is because sometimes you can quite easily knock it. So if you do both buttons, you know that you're disconnecting on both sides, and that is exactly how the real aircraft works as well. So overall, this product, I've been really impressed with it. It's the only downside I would say is it took 2 months to come. That is the downside to me. I feel that it could have come a lot quicker. I gather it's probably because they don't have many 3D printers. The quality of it is very good. I can't fault on the quality. It was packaged very well. It's come in a timely manner once it's been shipped. It could be they've just got a big back order of orders. I don't know. But that was the only thing I wasn't impressed with the length of time. So I ordered this on the 24th of February, and it came yesterday, the 1st of May. So quite a while waiting for it, which was a little bit frustrating, to be honest. I've been really looking forward to getting my hands on it. But overall, the quality of the product is quite good. Like I said in the other part of the video, the only other thing I would say that's slightly disappointing is the fit of the covers for the other axis that sit out. I feel like that could be a little bit more snug than it is at the moment. But like I said, I'm going to try and come up with a solution for that, even if it's just a little bit of sticky glue at the bottom to hold it to it. But like I say, overall it seems like a good product. I've not used it for any flights yet, but you'll see that in my upcoming videos. We'll be using it in flights, and hopefully you won't hear me moaning about not having my throttles in the right position all the time, because that is one thing that does really annoy me in flight without them. But overall, really impressed. And so guys, I hope this video has been useful for you and informative. Feel free to give us a like, comment, subscribe. There is another cheeky little hardware video on the way which I've not told anyone about, but that'll be coming up in the next couple of days hopefully. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the rest of your day, and don't forget to give us a like, comment and subscribe. Bye for now.